Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster.
Not bad.
The parts you need, even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this round of the ISCA from Talladega. And a strange voice in the booth. Big Al is away this week. And so you've got there. Don't adjust your audio. I'm Australian, and so I sound a bit weird to you. But we'll get this done. It doesn't matter. All alongside me, we've got Sean Senior. How are you, mate?
Doing good, man. This is another weird voice coming over the teleprompter right about now. I am not used to usually running commentary in this series, but I am going to be on the track tonight, so I ain't going to skip this race to come in here and talk for a little bit. No way in hell.
Well, we are awaiting the arrival of the Honourable James Watson, who shall arrive at some point from another commitment. So Sean is in the race. He's on track, and he's going to be our roving commentator, at least until James turns up, and keep me out of trouble and keep me honest. Also in the booth, pushing the buttons, of course, as usual, Mr. Kobe Jordan. How are you today?
Good evening, gentlemen, and good evening, viewers. Got a beautiful day here today. The sun's out. We've got the cars on track. I think we're in for a good race.
Yeah, going to be a fantastic race. Well, it's always great weather conditions at Talladega in iRacing, but it's going to be a good one. We've looks like we're getting a decent field together, and the usual suspects are all out there, all wanting the share of points for this championship. So we will go qualifying very shortly. We are in warm-up at the moment, got about 3 minutes left for that. We shall discuss a couple of things track-wise. What are the weather conditions out there at the moment? Do you have something you can pop up and keep us informed with, Kobe? Of course you do. There we go, 2.66 miles for the Talladega track and we're here in beautiful Alabama, outside Talladega, and the stages today are laps 25, 42, and it says 167, but we believe the correct final lap will be 118. Fuel range here, we're looking at around about mid-30s, so 36 or so. 4 sets of tyres for this one. Not that they're going to need them. 118 laps around here will barely take the scuff up the tyres on that first set. Air temp today, 75 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment. Track temp, 84. If you're watching in a metric area, that's air temps around about mid-20s, 28, something like that. So we're probably looking at around about 30, 32 degrees Celsius for the track temp. At 84 degrees, it's a little bit warm on the surface. It shouldn't be hot enough to make a big difference, Sean.
Yeah, it's pretty cool for out here in Talladega. Usually it only makes a difference once it gets above 100, 110 Fahrenheit. So anything down below that, the cars are going to be handling pretty good, where you'll be able to use up every inch of this racetrack. And
the Alabama gang super stretch here at Talladega. And being ISCA, I'm not expecting a lot of yellows, but I'm pretty sure being a super speedway, we're going to get a couple.
Yeah, super speedways, tight racing. Doesn't matter how good or bad you are, you're bound to run into something or somebody. One misjudgment can take out the whole pack for all we know it. So I'd say we're good for at least a couple yellows, but at the same time, wouldn't be surprised we go green the whole way.
Well, I've seen that happen. And I've seen very, very hectic races with double digits as far as cautions and yellows were concerned. But plenty of times I have actually seen it go green for the duration. As we take a look at our top 10 points standings for the series at this point in the championship, Vincent Crowe leading the series, and he is, it says he's leading the series, but I'm having trouble reading the points here. It doesn't look quite right.
Yeah, so with the point standings here right now, with the top 4 getting into the championship race, and the top 8 are all battling for that. So the guys outside the cut line right now are Bacon, Greg, Jay, and Jeremy in the 49 car. So last week I was able to win, lock myself in the 7. So right now Vincent Crowe is leading that playoff race right now. He's got 62 points over Mark in 4th, but tonight is going to be a big race for that 5 car, the 19 car, the 45 to try to lock themselves in and make up some points. And meanwhile, the 29 and 24, they got to have to race hard and try to get stage points and finish well to maintain their lead over the guys chasing them behind to get into Phoenix.
Well, if we're ready, we're going to take a look at some tips, and we'll kick off with actually, we've got keys to the race. Now, there's some important things to remember. You've got to find a decent drafting partner. If you can find someone that you can trust and they trust you and you can actually work together, it's a super speedway. You've got to draft. You've got to work with somebody, and hopefully you can find someone that is reliable, that know how to bump draft, that know how to hold the car steady while you're drafting them. It is an absolute necessity. We'll also take a look at the pitting for dough. Pit for dough. Maybe you can explain.
I guess the dough is the fuel right there. The fuel that's going to get you across the finish line. Fuel mileage is always plays a game here in these longer races at Talladega, especially at a position where it can go green. So when you make your pit stop, how many cars you're coming down with, how clean you can get in and out and back together, it really does make a huge difference out here at Talladega, especially in a race where teammates really matter.
Yeah, I thought pit for dough may have been something that you do with this series. That was all. Missed the big one.
It's a
nod, pit road, yeah.
It's a nod to Big Al, gentlemen. He says, "Race for show, pit for dough." That's one of his catchphrases.
Well, luckily he's here to explain it. And then the last key of the race is missing the big one. Everybody knows about the big ones here at Restrictor Plate Racing. I'm sure even Steve does down there, down under. And missing that big one is the biggest key to winning a race at Talladega. It's not about the driver. It's not about the car. It's about how lucky you are, most definitely, over and over.
And with 118 laps to get through, strategies are going to be important tonight. A lot of these guys have been racing together and against one another for a fair while. They know who to trust. They know who not to trust. Everybody's got their favourites as far as working together and knowing who can actually drive these things and who to keep away from and give them a bit of space. So it's going to be interesting to see what strategies are in place. Some guys are always going to want to lead from the front, and there's always going to be at least a couple of guys who are going to just hold back a bit and go too early. We are into qualifying, obviously, and Bacon Zelenka, a 54.230. So the first time that has come up for us so far in this qualifying session here at Dega. And David Gervais now, he smashed it with a 53.6. And Hone has gone to a 54.069. Drumhiller, a 54.310. Kenny Powell not bringing up a time as yet. Probably won't be far off. Sean, what are you up to out there at the moment? Get that time up there, Sunshine, so we can see what you're up to.
I figured I'd skip qualifying this time around. I got somewhere else I got to be. So we watch Greg right now. Out here on track. Greg's one of the better drivers in this league, racing for that Final Four spot tonight. He's going to be a car to watch, especially with it looking so similar to the 47. It's always a little bit confusing out there sometimes with them both out there. But Greg has definitely got to be a car trying to get the victory lane tonight. His whole season depends on it. And he's good enough to do it.
I've got my eye on Greg Wyszynski, and when we do the tips in a moment, people will find out why I'm watching Greg Wyszynski. In fact, why don't we actually take a quick look at that at the moment if we're ready, while we continue to watch those times come in. And, we'll start with Kangaroo Boy Kobe Jordan. Kobe, who have you got there?
Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to pick our man in the booth this week, Sean Signori. It wasn't an easy pick, as it being a super speedway. Anyone has a chance. But I feel something in my bones that Ziggy's going to bring it home for us today.
No worries. He's given you the big talk up. Sean, you're picking for James. So who you got your money on today?
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would pick me, but me, a wise man, I went with Mark Sanchez. Mark's still looking for his first win of the year. He's got to race his way in to get into the Final Four. He's been on the cusp time and time again. He's one to reckon with at the end of this race. I already know it tonight.
All right, and the final pick is for me today, and I'm going with Greg Wyszynski. I'm yet to see Greg have too bad a round. He's fairly reliable. I haven't seen every race he's been in, obviously, so everybody has a bad round once in a while. But my money's on Greg today. I'm thinking he's going to be the man to watch. And at the end of the day, I'm expecting to see him at the pointy end. That is it. They are gridding up. So we're going to go for a very quick break, and we'll come back with the grid for this round of the ISCA from Talladega. Stick around.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Remember when I told all my drivers, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time? Drivers, start your engines!
And welcome back to Talladega in Alabama. It's a warm one out there, but it's not too bad. We shouldn't have any problems with the tyres. This is the ISCA. And as we take a look at our starting grid, Mr. Kenny Powell coming off pole position with Greg Wycinski alongside him on the front row. As we go through to row 2, and we've got Mr. Derek Jacobs, a friend of mine, and David Gervais side by side on the second row. Row 3.
Good qualifying run for those guys, by the way. Sorry to butt in. I just want to say good qualifying run for both of those fellas right there.
Yep, it certainly was on the second row. As we look at Jay Hone and Mark Sanchez, who's expected to do well here today off that third row. Randy Drumhiller and Bacon Zelenka, pardon me, and they're coming out of 7th and 8th position on the grid. As we go through to wrapping up our top 10, Vincent Crowe and Andrew Griesbaum, and that is your top 10. Go to 11th and 12th is Sean Signor, pardon me, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, as our man on the mic, and Paul Olsen, he's coming out of 12th position on the grid. And 13th, Jay Collins, man at the back there at the moment, and I'm sure we'll see him move through the field at some point. Not a massive field, but it's a quality field. And I would actually expect here to see 3 wide, as you always do at Dega. But with a field this size, I'm thinking 4 wide is going to make it very exciting here. And we are now awaiting the pace car to lead these guys away and get things underway for today as we look at taking the green flag very, very shortly. How's the nerves going? A little bit of butterflies there for you, Sean?
Nah, not really. Been in this position one too many times in a Carb Cup race. That's for sure. But I wouldn't even expect 3 and 4 wide here so early. A lot of these guys are really smart racers. They're going to try to survive and take it easy here. But you never know. Every now and then, these fellas, they get a little racy.
Well, there's a lot on the line as far as points are concerned for the championship.
Most definitely. Those end of the stages are going to be rough.
And they've got a lot on the line. There's a lot to lose by actually going too early and pushing things beyond the envelope, so to speak. So we'll see how it works out. There's very sensible guys out there. Not familiar with everybody who's on the grid, but several of the guys I know are pretty good quality drivers out there in this series. So I am expecting common sense to prevail, unlike some other series that I won't mention. And people tend to push a little bit, and the pace car now rolls away, and the drivers will follow in suit. And we just watch those moving across the start-finish line now, and we'll get our lap underway, working our way around the field. Now, as we already covered, not expecting the heat to be a real problem. It's not that hot here, only still low to mid-80s. I don't see tyres being a problem. Fuel around mid-30s lap-wise, maybe a little more. Being not completely familiar with the series, I don't know who's good at fuel saving here. So that's something that we need to keep an eye on and see who it is that can stretch that fuel out and try and gain an advantage by pushing it into the 40s, 45. If they can get that out of it, that's going to make a big difference come later stages of the race. And the boys are all in position there at the moment behind the pace car as we come down that back straight and around through turns 3 and 4 as we get ready to get underway with the green flag. Kenny Powell in that number 24 will take control of the field when that pace car pulls off.
Keep in mind too, it's also going to be hard to fuel save with so little cars out here in a way. You know, we don't have 30, 40 cars out here to create as big of a draft, so you can only fuel save as much as the pack's really going, because we're all going to be pretty tight together, all, nose to tail. So there's only so much fuel saving you can do relative to everybody else.
Well, that's a really good point, actually. Yes. Yes, because we've got this size field, that's something that we'll need to keep an eye on that and see who can do what with it. As the pace car is now off, Kenny Powell has control of the field as we approach the start-finish line. And Kenny with Greg Wycinski alongside him. We'll see who can get the better start here. And they're away. They dropped the pedal there, and Kenny Powell still controls the field. Wycinski didn't get a bad start there, but he didn't quite take advantage. Kenny Powell got the better of the starts, and he's actually now pulled a couple of car lengths ahead of Wycinski in that outside lane.
Yeah, the outside's been struggling on starts and restarts all week long. It's just part of this package this week. So I don't look for the outside line to really get a good restart for maybe a couple cautions until some of these guys start to figure it out.
Yeah, we start to get some rubber down, and later stages of the race from probably about a third to half race distance, we may start to see a little bit more pace on that midline and the outside. But as we said, with a 13-car field, it's not like we can really look forward to an advantage of getting them 3 wide all the time. Unfortunately, what we'll see is anybody who really wants to prove a point gets the front. They'll probably create an outside line, but it may take a while before there's any pace out there, Sean.
Most definitely. It takes a couple laps for that outside line to get going when they first line up. It's not instantaneous as much as it is on the bottom.
So that number 5 car, Greg Wycinski, certainly dropped back a couple of spots now, purely still leading that outside line, but because all the pace appears to be down on the inside, he's actually dropped back a couple of car lengths. So that's pushed our outside front row starter back to third. He's worked his way back up now. He's starting to put the pressure on Kenny Powell, who still continues to lead. That was our pole sitter. And Wycinski noses himself ahead. He's just getting a lot of assistance there on that mid-line. And they've split. Oh, and Wyszynski's been left hung out to dry there. The guys behind him have now moved out to create that third line already, gone a little bit earlier than I expected. And Wyszynski still leads that middle line, and he's actually got the number 47 in behind. And who would that be? It's Sean, obviously.
That's actually Vincent right there pushing Greg.
I know it's
little
Vincent
further
Crowe,
back on the top.
You're in 7, he's in 47. So, sorry, I got that one wrong. And I'll go out and smack myself for that later on. And we continue to watch Wyszynski's now right at the front of this one. Dropped down to the inside. He's got Crowe in behind him. Kenny Powell dropped back to 3rd place. And Bacon Zelenka up to 4th. And Collins 5th. Jacobs dropped back a couple of spots to 6th. And Hone, Signor and swapping places back and forward there. They're moving up and down. And Drumhiller rounds out the top 10. Griesbaum, Olsen, and Sanchez. Sanchez has dropped, way back now. He started on the 3rd row and now running at the rear of the field. So that's a very interesting situation with Mark Sanchez. But a long way to go, folks. Lap 4 of 118, starting over lap number 5. And Wyszynski continues to lead this from Crowe and Powell. That's your top 3 at the moment. Zelenka is up into 4th place, and the top 5 rounded out by Collins. And they're all moving down onto that inside line now, trying to at least get some draft happening. The boys at the back moving around a fair bit, but down to one single file line now. And already on lap 5, and because of the size of the field, they're not seeing a lot of benefits of having a second line there on that mid-line outside area, possibly because it doesn't appear to be a lot of pace at this point in the race, but that will probably change later on, Sean. How are you going down there at the moment?
It feels good. I feel like everybody kind of just took a little bit of a breather after that 3 wide moment. And now it's almost a patient game where you have to choose to make your move. And I feel like we're going to almost stay single file until about 6 or 7 laps to go in the stage. Around lap 17 or 18 is when I expect it to start to pick up again. But who knows? Some of these guys could be, a little less patient than that and want to get going here any second. Who knows when it's going to kick back off again.
Yeah, definitely everybody sort of, not everybody, obviously. We've got somebody running there all on their lonesome down on that mid-line. But the rest of the field, he's now moved down onto the low end there. I think that's Mark Sanchez who's moved up a spot. And that's Wyszynski continues to lead from Crowe, Powell, Zelenka, and Collins rounds out the top 5. Signor, Gervais, Jacobs, Hone, and Drumfiller is your top 10. So obviously no pace there. We're going to see single file for a while. And it'd be interesting to see if anybody's actually going to experiment by trying to get some rubber down to help that outside line and that midline maybe get some pace for later on in the race. Because if we see 12 or 13 cars single file for the majority of this, then there's no way we're going to get any rubber laid down and some pace on that outside, Sean.
Yeah, a couple of these guys in chat just now, they're talking about making a move, and here they go. It's the 88, the 27. A couple of the guys behind them all making a move here, trying to get to the front. This is going to make it a little bit interesting here.
Oh, pardon me, folks. Sorry about that. And, we've got 3 or 4 cars there now on that midline, trying to work their way down that outside. 4 cars it is. And by the look of it, the 88 car obviously is David Gervais, and he's taken the initiative for that. And he's got the 27 behind him. And, of course, that obviously, says, is that a... I can't read it. I'm going blind. Don't worry about me. He's actually...
That's a 27 behind him, Derek
27,
Jacobs. Sure.
It is the 27 of Derek Jacobs. Pardon me. And,
the 19 and the 29 are also in this little bit of a pack, and they're trying to, for sure, get some stage points and close in on Kenny and Vincent.
Well, with the stage coming up on, it's expected on 25, but if we actually have a caution close to that, it could be early. So with this size field, I wouldn't expect to see too many incidents. But hey, we're human. Everybody makes mistakes. And with these guys now on the outside, they're starting to struggle for pace again. Obviously, David Gervais is sitting in 7th place there at the moment, but 8th now, and he's struggling for pace on that midline because it's still very early in the race, and with this size field, we haven't had a chance to get some rubber down. There's no real pace on that outside, and we won't see 3 wide unless somebody really wants to take a chance and just tries to prove a point. We may see a charge right at the end of the stage, and to see if somebody can get themselves extra points by moving a car spot or more forward. But Wachinski continues to lead from Crow, Powell, Zelenka, Collins, Gervais, Signor, Jacobs, Hone, Griesbaum. Hone's just dropped back about 3 spots, so he's paid the price for something there. Still rounds out the top 10 though, and we're 10 laps into this for 118 laps. A bit of a gap forming at the tail end of this field. We're looking at Olsen back in 13th place there at the moment, who's got about 3 to 4 car lengths between he and the rest of the field here. And that midline still fighting with those 4 cars, still trying to prove a point there at the moment, and almost looked like they were going to go for a 3rd line, but one of them's moved back down onto that inside line, and I believe that was Sanchez. So Derek Jacobs still continuing to give a bit of a push along to David Gervais, and those 3 guys now on the outside. And with this drafting package, I don't know whether those guys are going to really get any benefit out of that, Sean.
Yeah, it seems to be tough for them to make any sort of ground. I almost feel like I kind of want to move up there and work with them, but I'm just trying to stay just a little bit patient and stay behind some of my teammates. I really necessarily don't want to get up there and start racing them for nothing. You also got to remember, too, I'm locked into the Phoenix no matter what, so I'm just trying not to ruffle any feathers necessarily.
Yeah, no, you do what you got to do, and just work the field the way you need to. You've obviously got guys and teammates in the field there that you want to work with. We've got 4 cars on the outside again now, as I believe. I'm just trying to see who that 4th car in the queue is. It may even be Sanchez.
That's
again.
Mark Sanchez, yeah. So Mark seems to be popping back and forth between the bottom and the top. Maybe going to the bottom to get a big run and then popping back up to the top to help them.
Yeah, he doesn't seem particularly happy with staying in one spot or the other. Down low, he's getting plenty of draft and being able to work with the other cars, but at the same time, he's a long way back on that inside line. So moving to the outside there will move him up a couple of spots position-wise. But, I mean, let's be honest, if he's not getting what he needs on the outside, he's not going to stay there. These 3 guys, they seem to still be getting the job done out there with or without any help from a 4th or 5th car.
They're working really hard to maintain that spot, though. They could get in line and run half throttle and be in the same spot necessarily. So doing that, it almost can cause an issue sometimes because you're pushing the guy so hard in front of you just to get one car width ahead at a time when you're out there on the top trying to fight for position, and it'll wear you out mentally just staying up there trying to inch away at getting towards the front with less people to work with than the bottom line has at the moment.
Yeah, look, we saw David Gervais there live moving back down to the inside in that 88 car, and now he's actually since then gone back to the middle line. As we're starting to actually see a bit of a competitive run on that mid-line there at the moment. And we've got 2 fairly even and equal lines running now, with Vincent Crowe just nosing ahead of Wachinski. So the 2 of those will actually battle and bounce back and forward for the lead, with Zelenka, Powell and Collins rounding out that top 5. And trying to actually keep it all happening at the pointy end of the field. But certainly with 5 cars now, this drafting package, and a 6th car coming along on that midline, This drafting package really is starting to come into its own on that mid-line. These guys are starting to get some benefit of it now as we look at 6 cars on that mid-line. So it's starting to work for them.
Yeah, well, a couple of the guys in front of me made a move, so I decided to follow them. You know, it's kind of easy to do when half the field in front of you does it.
Yeah, well, that's evened out the two lines as we go 2 by 2. And, look, beautiful move. And we're actually seeing a lot of positional changes there at the moment. And our leaderboard's still showing Vincent Crowe, and then Zelenka, Collins, Wachinski back to 4th, Kenny Powell, Signor, Drumhiller, Grisbaum, Olsen, Jacobs, all the way back to 10th position. And then Hone, Mark Sanchez still at that back end of the field. And so it'll be interesting to see what his ploy is going to be as we get closer to that first stage on lap 25-ish. Considering we go clean, it should hit on 25. But Sanchez and Hone at the tail end of the field. But David Gervais back there at the moment, rounding out the top 10. Jacobs has actually pulled a spot away from him, and Olsen's also up into the top 10 now. And lap 17 of 118. We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a moment. This is starting to get really good.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster. Not bad. The parts you need even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the ISCA at Talladega in Alabama, and we've got it all happening out there at the moment. And that midline that we were looking at has definitely dropped back just a little bit, and the guys are not looking as competitive as they were before we went for our little break. But at this point, we're still looking at Vincent Crowe leading from Bacon Zelenka, followed by Collins, Powell, Kenny Powell. He's just moved up into the top four. Drumhiller, Signor, Olsen, Sanchez, Haney, I'm told is how it's actually pronounced. Sorry to him. And Gervais. That's your top 10. Now, my tip for today, I'm afraid I might have actually put the commentator's curse on this poor guy. Greg Wyszynski back to 11th after starting on the front row today. Griesbaum and my old mate Derek Jacobs. He's at the back of the field there at the moment, so not quite sure what's going on with DJ. I guess we'll find out as the race unfolds, but we're looking on lap 22 of 118, and we're expecting a stage break very shortly, and that's due on lap 25, so we've got a couple of laps to go as the boys tend to spread out a little bit as we take a look at somebody up on the outside who's moved back down onto the midline. That won't do them any good on that
was just
midline.
me. Yeah, I wanted to get out of where I was. I was running hot and just didn't like sitting there at that moment, so I just figured I'd go to the top and just get out of it, save my stuff.
Well, you put yourself in it, Sean, because I wasn't going to name who it was. And
Okay. I'll put myself in anything I've done bad. I'm the first one to own up to anything.
I was going to actually say you're probably running a bit hot at the back of the pack there. So if people watch me, and I'll occasionally move right or I'll move left. They're trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to get some air in the front of the car. So the only time I don't do that is when I'm sitting at the front. And right now, Vincent Crowe is the only guy who doesn't have to worry too much about overheating. But
Lap and a half to go in the stage.
Sorry, mate, what was that?
There's a lap and a half to go left in the stage.
Yes, we are getting towards the end of it. Bacon Zelenka sitting in behind Vincent Crowe. So my comment was going to be, it'd be interesting to see if Bacon was getting a bit warm. But no, he's obviously got some air in that now because Vincent moved a little bit towards the upper side of the track. So Bacon's got a fair bit more air and cooling into the front of that car. But we are looking at probably next time around, we will actually get our end of stage. It's meant to happen at the end of this lap, so we're just going to wait and see what happens. And at the end of this lap, I'm expecting it to go caution. And it's been trouble-free and green running all the way so far on lap 25 of 118. As Crowe, Zelenka, Collins, Haney and Drumhiller all continue to round out your top five. Olsen, Powell, Griesbaum, Sanchez and Gervais is your top 10. And they're spread out at the moment as the boys are trying to get the points for the end of the stage. And they're really scattered 3 and 4 wide there at the moment as they cross the line for the end of stage. It's Bacon Zelenka that will actually be your stage winner as we go to caution.
Man, that's the first stage in a long time I didn't get any points in. Luckily, I don't need them.
Was just actually going to ask you what happened there because you were inside the top 10 right before the boys actually scattered, and they were running 3 and 4 wide there. So that probably didn't do you any favours.
I don't think I actually gained a spot there. I was right. I think I gained 1 or 2 spots in that whole mess. I think I got around the 5 and the 27, but I think coming to the last lap there, I was dead last in the pack, really.
Yes, and well, unfortunately, we're seeing Wyszynski now in 13th, so he's keeping it going at the back of the pack. Derek Jacobs in the number 27. Both of those guys we've seen running at the pointy end of the field tonight, now at the tail end of the field. So whether they're going strategy racing or not, I'm not sure, but end of the stage is probably not the best time to do that. Go from the front of the field to the back. But we are under caution. We are on a stage break. And I think, do we want to talk to our stage winner at the moment, Bacon Zelenka? He's pitted, so we're not going to talk to him. We'll go to an ad break. Oh, okay. All right, so we're just keeping an eye on things at the moment. So, under caution for the stage break. And as you can see, Zelenka, Collins, Crow, Drumhiller, Haney, Powell, Olsen, Griesbaum, Sanchez, and Gervais are your top 10. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll take a very quick break, come back, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to our stage winner.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster. Not bad. The parts you need, even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
Welcome back to the ISCA. This is Talladega, and we are going to have a quick chat to our stage winner, Bacon Zelenka. How are you doing out there?
Well, we won the stage, so it can't be going too bad, right?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. A big push there, right at the end of that final lap before the caution. As you crossed the line, the cars scattered 4 or 5 wide. You made a big push. You got the points. How's the race gone for you up until this point? The car's good, tyres, all that. Not worried about too many things.
No, we're not really too worried. I think me, Vincent, and Jay Collins, that is the 46. I think we got a good package here. Sean, we haven't worked with him too much, but he's on the same stuff that we are, so I feel like we're in a good position to make some things happen this race.
No, that's great. Look, we're going to go yellow. We're already under yellow. We're going to go green after another lap. The lights are still on the pace car. It's obviously not a big field, but you still got to have your wits about you, and you got to be on the ball out there at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone here is we all know how each other race, so it's not about having there'll be a very high field quality in the ISCA currently. Everybody knows what everybody else wants to do or how they want to race, so it's very interesting to race. It's not like running a normal open race where it's the fastest guy wins. Everybody is able to play strategies off each other, so you got to be very aware of what's happening. And I think the more drivers we have on our team, with me, Sean, Vincent, Jay, we get a good scope of how the field is working and how everybody's operating. I think it's our big advantage this race.
Well, one thing that's been a bit of a topic of conversation in the booth before we go green is that because of the size of the field, there's not a lot of pace on the outside. And because of this drafting package, when there was about 6 cars or so, there was a fairly decent competitive run going 2 by 2. Do you think we'll be able to see that again in this stage?
Not in this stage. Towards the end of the race, I think we will. Yeah. Me and Vincent were able to show a little bit on the outside with Jay following us, and even Sean got online there. But it takes a lot more than it used to, for sure, from what I understand.
All right, no worries. Well, we'll let you go, Bacon. Let you concentrate on this next stage. Lap 42 is the next stage caution, so we may even get a chance to say hello again.
I'll see you in a little bit up there, buddy.
Good job.
Good luck, mate, for the rest of the race. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, Bacon Zelenka there, our stage winner as we're about to go green. And
seems like Vincent up there in the lead. He took the high side here, so expect him to get a good launch and pull down in front of Bacon, kind of like how they do in the Cup races on Sunday. In the ISCA, you can pick your lane as the leader.
Yes, I've actually I've noticed in a couple of leagues that I'm in, a couple of US-based leagues, they have the same rule. And if you're actually in the lead on a restart, you can choose the inside or the outside, depending on what you want to do. A lot of Australian leagues, it's cut and dried. You stay where you are. As the pace car is off, Vincent Crowe has control of the field with Bacon Zelenka on his inside. And the boys coming up towards the start-finish line now. And Vincent Crowe guns it and gets the foot down, gets a brilliant start there. And moves down on the inside ahead of Bacon Zelenka as that other 5 cars on the outside line have just been left behind by Vincent Crowe. Completely got taken by surprise there, those other guys that were behind him on the outside in that midline. And just taking a look now at the moment, if you just joined us, we are on lap 30 of 118. This is the ISCA Next Gen Cup, and we're at Talladega in Alabama, and it's temperature-wise, it's not too bad out there. The surface temp's only in about the low to mid-80s, so we don't have any tyre issues at the moment. It's not that hot in Bama on this day. As we look at Vincent Crowe, Zelenka, Kenny Powell, Collins, that's your top 4. The rest of the field piling up behind them there at the moment. We've got 3 cars on that midline, but generally speaking, 4 cars now with the number 88 moving back up the top there. That, of course, is David Gervais moving back up the top. He's down the bottom and he's up high, depending on what he's trying to get out of it and whether he's finding what he wants. So he's working pretty hard there at the back of the field to try and get and find what he's looking for. But being led by Vincent Crowe at the moment, who's got a fairly good grip on this race with Bacon Zelenka in behind him. Kenny Powell, Collins, Griesbaum, that's your top 5. Derek Jacobs, who started on the 3rd row with Mark Sanchez, they're both back in 11th and 12th at the moment. David Gervais in 13th position. So a long way to go. Our next stage break, went blank there for a moment, is due on lap 42, and this is a 118 lapper. We are going to go for a very quick break, and we'll see you when we get back.
training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster. Not bad. The parts you need even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
Welcome back to ISCA at Talladega, this round of the championship, and we've got it all going on here at the moment with not a big field, but a quality one, and there's been plenty of great racing here at the moment. Bacon Zelenka, our stage 1 winner at lap 25, as we making our way up to lap 42 for the next of the stage breaks. It's a 118 lapper, folks, so stage 3 will be a big one. It's going to be a long one, and it's going to be a tight one, and by then we expect to see some pace on the outside, as the back half of the field seems to be bunched up and a bit staggered out there at the moment, as some of the guys are trying to actually get something happening on that midline. And Sean, you're in amongst all this. What are you seeing?
I've got hooked up here to the back of Jake Collins. I'm going to try to push him up there towards the front. Decided to maybe make a little bit of a move here with 6 or 7 laps to go in the stage.
And from the production booth, Kobe, what are your impressions of how this is going, mate?
Well, gentlemen, it's been pretty much what I expected. The ISCA is known for being clean, and the guys have done just that. They've kept it clean. Even with bobbling around from lane to lane, they've still given each other room and respect. So I don't expect to see anything nasty unless we get down to the pointy end of the stages. Then we might see some 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide as they hustle for the lead.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting to see that towards the end of this stage, like we did at the end of the first stage. They actually scattered across the track and were 4 and even 5 wide, with guys trying to actually grab whatever points they could for the end of stage. And Bacon Zelenka coming away with the lollies on that occasion ahead of Vincent Crowe. And Crowe's taken the lead back of the race. And as I mentioned before, he's got a bit of a stranglehold on this one. Nobody seems to be able to do a whole lot with that midline, because there just doesn't seem to be the pace out there, and we don't have a big enough field to actually do anything with that. So as we know, and we've discussed already, 4 cars on the outside there is barely enough to help with this drafting package, as one of those guys tries to get a bit of air into the car. He's obviously getting a little bit warm sitting behind those other 3, and we'll see how we go there at the moment. I believe that's Derek Jacobs in the 27, actually. So hopefully Derek's got it all happening there on that outside. But on the inside lines where the pace is, and that's where the preferred spot is at the moment, especially this early part of the race. I expect that we'll see that change later towards the end of the stage, and then towards the end of the race. The last 20 laps of this one are going to be pretty sensational, I think, Sean.
I think so. It's going to be quite a little battle here for the end of the stage. Me and Jay have worked our way up pretty far up. I feel like Vincent or Bacon's going to try blocking them here in a second when we get even closer. So it's going to start heating up here with about 3 laps to go next time around.
Yeah, Vincent and Bacon are the teammates as well, if I understand correctly. So they're not going to want to be given too much room to anybody. And there goes Vincent Crowe onto that outside ahead of Collins. Now he's moved back down, back in front of Zelenka, as you continue to push Collins at the front. Now Collins leads this one from Signor, and then we've got Crowe, Heaney, Zelenka, and Derek Jacobs up well into the top 10 again now, after sitting at the tail end of the field. David Gervais is in your top 8. So the guys that were at the tail end of the field not so long ago in 11th, 12th, 13th, definitely making a bit of room as we get somebody got a bit of the wiggles up there at the moment. And we've gone 3 wide here at Dega. On a small field, these guys have now decided it's time to actually start pushing rather than wait for the end of the stage. And we're going to wait and see what's happened here. But it looks like his discretion's the better part of valor, and he's actually that car's dropped back into the midline, and he's now 4th car back on that. Nope, they're still scattered all over the track there, 3 wide at the back end of the field. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with this. But as Sean said, Zelenka and Crow, they're not going to want to relinquish the lead of this one. They're going to want to hang on to it. They are teammates. They will work together. And we've got Sean Signor pushing Collins, but it's a bit of an uphill battle out there at the moment for you, Sean.
Yeah, it's tough to get something going with the outside line. They're running 3 wide behind us, and there's a lot of shuffling going around just in our line alone. That hurts us up at the front. But we're making our way back up there. It's not over yet.
And Greg Wachinski just notably has moved back up into 8th spot at the moment, back inside the top 10 after running at rear field for a while. And we've just seen, that's, I think, Greg. Was that Greg there? No, I think it was Olsen, actually, and he's actually maybe just preparing to sit back a little bit and watch what's going on. We're at the point of the race now, getting close to mid-race, where people are starting to take some chances to try and play a bit of musical cars out there at the moment. We've seen 3 wide, we've seen 2 wide. So definitely there's some positional changes going on out there, Kobe.
You're right. As we come to the end of stage 2, you can see them all, like I mentioned earlier, jostling for that front spot.
As Crow and Zelenka continue to lead this, we've got... I'm just trying to see who that is on the inside, but back to 3 wide again now. I think that's David Gervais on the outside, making a 3rd row, but he's sort of on the outside in the midline. And a couple of them almost came together there. Very, very close to that.
And yellow's out.
And we are under caution. So...
that was the end of the stage.
That stage, actually, yeah. I'm just looking up at
Vincent
what lap
Crow,
we were
your
on.
second stage winner. Andrew's going to come home 2nd, Bacon in 3rd. So pretty good stage points out of those 2 out front so far. I was able to just nip the 19 and the 24 at the line, too. I went up through the middle there, gained like 3 spots. So really wasn't working at the top, but I was able to get something out of it at least.
Yeah, no, it's certainly the part of the race where you need to solidify partnerships and stuff, and you've been working with Collins there, but after this stage break, it starts to get a little bit serious, mate.
Oh, it's going to get pretty exciting up front. I think fuel strategy is really going to play a big difference here in this second half, and I'm going to have to get up close to some of my teammates up there, or else it's going to go way off, you know?
Yep. All right, so we'll take a quick break and come back, and maybe we'll get to talk to Vincent Crow this time around. Back in a minute.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster. Not bad. The parts you need even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
Welcome back to ISCA, the Next Gen Cup. And we are at Talladega in Alabama, and we have our stage winner with us for stage 2, Vincent Crow. How you doing out there?
Oh, I'm good. It's been a very calm, collective race so far. Doing my best to just try to survive as much as I can.
Yeah, working well with a couple of your teammates out there at the moment, especially Bacon.
Yeah, no, we've been working pretty well together. Our goal is to survive, so we're not trying to like mandate the race necessarily just yet. We're just trying to do our best to keep alive, and the best way to do that is to stay up front. But we're going to try something a little different here. We have a strategy that we're going to go to the back. We're going to try our best to just save fuel, and then we're going to go when it matters.
Well, you've got more than 60 laps to go for this one, and it certainly looks like you've had a stranglehold on the race, and you just positioned yourselves and strategized. It just gives the impression that you've got well and truly got control of this one, but plenty of challenges out there, so good luck for this stage. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you at the end of the race, Vincent.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks. Good luck.
Yep.
And there we go. That's Vincent Crow. We've got him tucked away back down to his team channel. So our stage 2 winner and stage 1 winner was his teammate Bacon Zelenka. So those two guys will start off on the front row. Vincent has actually opted for the outside again, and the lights are off on the pace car as we're coming around through the final turn. And Vincent Crow will take control of this field very shortly, coming round onto the tri-oval there at the moment. He's got his teammate Bacon Zelenka on the outside, but there's plenty of guys out there, including Kenny Powell. They're going to want a piece of this. We've got all sorts of stuff happening. Greg Wychinski out there as well, who's probably we're going to see him instigate what he wants to do with his strategy in this final stage, as the boys get the job done, and Vincent Crow gets the foot down. Zelenka doesn't let him get away this time, but Crow moves down in front on that inside line, and all of a sudden we've got Sean in 6th place there at the moment. How did you see that? That all went fairly smoothly.
Yeah, it seems like it went pretty smooth for the most part. The seas are just parting here in front of me, and not much else I can do other than take it, you know. So I went from about 8th to or 7th to 3rd here coming into turn 3. So see how this works out for now.
Yep. All right. No worries. Good luck with that, mate. Looks like the positional changes out there at the moment, and we've got Greasebum and Drumhauser now leading the race from number 7 and 27. Our mate Derek Jacobs. Then Kenny Powell. Strangely, I'm just looking for...
So 78 was dropped back to the back there. I think the 47 and the 45, he said he's going to go back to the back, try to save some fuel. That's what he said before the
right, okay,
interview.
All right.
So
That's what
he went... Yeah, so those two, they went to the back there, coming down off of turn 2 on your restart lap, and right now it's got the 44, myself, and the 27 out front.
Yes, yeah, that's what completely threw me, because both the cars in the lead of the race that we were just talking about all of a sudden weren't there anymore, and it threw me. I'm an old fella, and I miss things. So that's it's good news for you, mate. You're up to 2nd place. Derek Jacobs up to 3rd, Kenny Powell 4th, and Heaney is actually up into rounding out the top 5 there at the moment here at Talladega. So a lot of positional changes. Zelenka and Crow looking to save some fuel. They've dropped to the rear of field. And I was looking at a different camera angle, didn't actually notice them do that, and we weren't privy to the conversation.
They just got to be privy not to lose the pack here. It's going to be a big deal. They don't want to go too far back, and next thing you know, you're getting lapped, losing that much time per lap here, especially with the long run coming up. The last thing they want to do right now is to lose this pack.
Well, the best thing for Collins at the moment is the fact that Zelenka and Crow have actually dropped to the rear of field, so they are now pushing him along. So they get the three of them get to work together. But as we've seen, 3 cars with this drafting package on this Cup car, this next-gen Cup car, isn't necessarily a great thing. You tend to need 4, 5, 6 to make it work properly. So they don't seem to be doing too badly at the moment as they come up on the back of the number 78 car, I think it is, Greasebomb, and they'll now form the midline there at the moment. They've got a bit of pace between the three of them, so that midline's starting to work a little bit. There's been plenty of guys have a crack at getting something happening out there, but it looks like they're starting to actually get something going now with these 3 cars, with Collins, Zelenka, and Crow. But we're still seeing the 44 car leading this one from 7, 27, 24, 15, and I think 29. So lots of positional changes, lots of changes going on around the place, and they're still there on that midline, trying to make something work. Collins now, the 3 cars, now they've dropped down onto the back of that. So they're at the rear of field now, Sean, and you'll continue to push along there at the moment. Yeah, it's a bit early for you to make a move, is it?
Oh, most definitely. Still a long way to go, and I'd like to save a little fuel myself as well, and I'd rather not be leading. I'd rather be sitting here pushing this 44 car around.
No worries at all. Just keep an eye on those temperatures out there, Sean. Don't want to see you overheat.
Definitely.
Derek Jacobs sitting back there in 3rd as well. So Derek's he's all over this one tonight. I'm actually seeing a lot of Derek Jacobs tonight. So a good run for DJ, and hopefully keep that going.
These tend to be a track that Derek really likes to enjoy. If I've seen him out here racing, it's these plate tracks, and if anybody has a shot to win tonight, it's definitely Derek. These races are just about crapshoots, and the 27 bringing home a checker tonight would be a pretty big upset.
Yeah, well, that's it. It would be. It'd certainly throw the cat amongst the pigeons points-wise.
Yeah, well, it would be inconsequential for points in a way because he's not in the playoffs and really wouldn't matter for the bigger overall picture. But it would take away a race that one of these guys is needing to try to lock themselves in.
Well, that was what I meant as far as the top guys in the series. Not being able to actually get at the pointy end, win the race, or get on the podium, and those positions have gone to other people. That really sort of will mix things up a little bit because they're going to have to try even harder in the upcoming rounds to try and get those points back.
Yeah, Martinsville's going to be a tough little racetrack. You're going to see a lot of desperation there out of some of these guys. And if there's a place where desperation pays off, it might just be Martinsville.
Yeah, it could also go the other way. I've seen plenty of desperation not pay off, and it's a case of we'll have to see what happens when we cross that bridge and see what happens in the rest of this one. But lap 54, I believe, of 118, and with single file on the inside line. Small but entertaining field for this round at Dega. And the planets have aligned to give us a decent temperature condition, decent weather conditions. We don't have to worry too much about the heat. The only heat problem is a lot of these guys now having to keep an eye on that because there's not a lot of pace anywhere but the lower line. That inside line is where it's at, so it's making it difficult. But with around about 60 laps to go, anything can possibly happen here. So we're going to go for a very quick break. We'll be back in just a moment and we'll catch up with what's going on.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster. Not bad. The parts you need even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
Welcome back to ISCA. This is the Cup, and we are at Talladega. I'll put my teeth back in, be able to speak. And we've got second place out there at the moment is still Sean Signor, and he's sitting right in behind Drumhauser. So number 44 car continues to lead this with 7. Derek Jacobs in the 27 is still in third place. And then Kenny Powell and Heaney round out your top 5. A lot of racing yet to go, Sean.
Oh, most definitely. We've still got a pit stop and a half, when it comes to how many laps are left. And I'm pretty content here right behind the 44 for it. Randy is a really good race car driver. He's nice and smooth on the wheel. I know he's not going to do anything crazy. So I trust him, and I have no problem pushing him along.
Yeah, I think we've just clicked over for lap 60. So we're actually looking at 58 laps to go. Yeah, you're looking at one more stop for that, or do you think it'll be 2?
One more stop. It says I need about 15, 16 gallons to make it home from here.
Okay, so, we did say before the race we were looking at around mid-30s. I think it stated 36 for a tank laps-wise. But obviously in a field this size, although we talked about it, it doesn't appear to be that anybody's really looking at doing a lot of fuel saving. It's really probably not going to help a whole lot with another 50-odd laps to go. So fuel saving is probably not going to really make much of a difference if everybody's really only going to need one more stop to get to the end.
I'm not even saving too much myself up front. I'm kind of just pushing him when I can, lifting when I can, just biding my time. I'm locked in, so I don't have to overthink the fuel strategy or anything like that.
Yeah, I just noticed that you're keeping a bit of a bubble there between yourself and the 44 car. Is that purely to keep things cool, or something else?
I think I'm going to pop up to the top side here, actually, and work with some of my teammates.
Yep, no worries. Oh, look at that. He's popped up out in front of, was that Collins there, I believe. And so Sean Signor now actually takes the lead of this one. And he's going to work with Collins. He's got in there behind him. and that midline on the outside now appears to be working. But funnily enough, there's we got 5 or 6 cars, and so that's where this drafting package really comes into its own, is when you've got 5 or 6 cars working together up there. And we've got 4 there, and then a break back to I think it's actually David Gervais, who's now dropped back to the inside, and all but 1 car have done that.
It seems like Vincent got left out the drive there. I saw them in my mirror making the move, so I didn't expect them to not be able to clear themselves. I thought they had it done, but I guess Vincent was the one that had to kick himself back up.
Yeah,
might want to get a replay of that.
Nowhere for Vincent to go. Everybody else dropped down because there was space, and Vincent got caught out. Was not expecting it, I don't think. Even though I think one of the other cars was his partner in crime, Bacon Zelenka. Vincent just ended up on the outside now. He's taken his spot at rear of field as everybody's gone back to single file on that inside line, Sean.
Yeah, it's pretty tight up here at the moment. I got Jay pushing me, and Jay is a pretty aggressive pusher, so I got my hands full with him out behind me sometimes. But this kind of also takes that fuel strategy out the window for me, which is okay for the most part. I was planning on taking a full tank anyways.
Well, that's it. The next stop, you're probably looking at that being in around about 17 to 20 laps.
Yeah, I got about 20 laps, a little bit more than that still left in the tank. So quite a bit to go even on the pit stop. And then you kind of have to plan your pit stop around working with a smaller group of guys usually. That's how I like to do the pit stops, with the smaller field. Everybody all coming in at once kind of causes a mess and potential for a crash, and anything can happen, and you tend to be slower that way. So if I can come in with 2-3 guys, that'd be pretty good.
As long as you've also got enough there to make a difference with this drafting package.
That is true.
If you're running with 2 or 3 guys in these particular cars with this drafting package, it could almost be detrimental to guys who are running in a pack of 4 or 5. Obviously you're going to get 1 or 2 or single cars. In these cars, that's just a death sentence.
It's most definitely going to be interesting here with the green flag pit stop coming up, just because you have all these guys that are committed to pitting with their teams. It kind of murkies the water a little bit, because some of these guys are going to have different fuel levels, and they're going to force each other to pit, maybe at times where they don't want to pit. Maybe coming in with a couple guys that you necessarily don't want to make your green flag stops with. So luckily for me and the straight arrow team, we got 3 guys up front right now, but some of those guys that are spread throughout the whole pack, it kind of could cause an issue here when coming down on the pit road.
Yeah, and nobody's particularly piled up behind one another. There doesn't seem to be a lot of pushing. There's half a car length or more between just about every car in the field in that single file at the moment. In fact, Collins has just dropped back to about a car length behind you. So everybody's just sort of hanging back a little bit and just trying to get some air in, not do anything particularly, I was just about to say not do anything particularly stunning, and all of a sudden Collins moves out to your outside on the right there, and he's actually going to challenge you for the lead of this race, and he'll drop in front of you, give you a chance to actually tag along on him for a little while. But you've got Zelenka fair up your rear there at the moment.
Yeah, Jay wanted to get out front, so I kind of swapped with him, and this will allow me to kind of sit back and save some gas here.
So in this sort of situation, Kobe, who would you see as being someone who could take advantage of this smaller field in the late stages of the race from this series?
We definitely want to look out for Greg Wachensky. He'll be one to look out for when, they're all forging their partnerships.
I think Kobe's mic is still muted.
Fuck it.
I can only imagine who he might pick, actually, because the later stages, I really expect the 24 and the 29 to kind of work together with the 5 car maybe, and make their presence known a little more than it is right now.
I was actually going to say the 5 car. 5 car was going to be who I was going to mention. He'll be the one to look for at the end when everyone's scattering, looking for the holes, looking for the gaps. He'll be the one to thread the needle and find it to the end.
Well, that's why I actually tipped Wycinski. I mean, regardless of what happens for the other 100 laps, that last 18 laps or so, I expect to see him at the front looking for any hole to get through and to make his move and really exert his authority on this field, especially a small field that is pretty much mostly being confined to that inside lane for pace.
You're also kind of confined to the inside lane just because that's where everybody else is running. If you were up there running that outside lane right now, you'd have nobody with you, and you kind of have to get with the program or not be a part of it when it comes to Talladega.
Well, exactly right. And as we've seen, people have tried to do something with it. The only time we tend to see 3 wide or more is right at the end of a stage, and we're in our final stage. So that will probably be something that people are going to reserve for that white flag lap, I'd say, Sean.
Yeah, most definitely. It's, with the white, I'd say even before then, I expect this to start picking up after the pit stop, maybe with around 10 laps to go is when these guys are going to start lighting that wick.
Yeah, but Collins continues to lead from Signor for this one. Zelenka in third. That rounds out your top 3. We're going to go for a quick break at the moment, and we're going to keep an eye on a couple of these guys to see what they can do as this race gets down to the wire. We'll be back in a minute.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Talladega in Alabama. This is the ISCA Cup Series, and we continue to see Jay Collins leading this one from Sean Signor and Bacon Zelenka, as it's now just after 5:15 in the afternoon race time, track time, and these guys very soon, they probably, I think maybe with Daytona, you could come through turn 4 and see the sun low in the sky. We'll wait and see whether we're going to actually have that here. We're seeing that that's the sun rays, a little bit strong coming through the turn there. It's going to be interesting to see how the guys go in the closing stages of this one. Get that sun in your eyes, and we see what happens. It might just be a little bit too much. So as the sun gets lower in the sky and the race gets later and the shadows get longer, it's going to be yet another hurdle for these guys to deal with as we close in on that the magic number 118 laps. So we'll see how we go. We are on lap 74 at the moment, I believe. And we have, as I said, Collins leading from Signor and Zelenka. Drumhauser, Jacobs, Kenny Powell is in 6th position at the moment out there. David Gervais, Mark Sanchez, Greg Wachinski, and Heaney rounds out the top 10 with Olsen, Grisbaum, and Crow. The rest of the field, that's your 11th, 12th, and 13th. If it sounds like I'm struggling a little bit to read that, I am, but we're getting through it. We're getting it done, and we've got some great, fantastic racing here at the moment. It's still pretty much single file here, though, and everybody
10 laps away.
And we're looking at green flag pit stops coming very shortly. And I'm pretty sure that's what Sean just said. So looking at about 10 laps before we start seeing some green flag pit stops. I expect it will be green flag, not a caution.
I'm sorry, did you ask me a question?
No, mate. Concentrate.
Okay, yeah. No, you're good. Yeah, so I think about 10 laps from now would be a good time to pit. And, everybody can, get back out there with a full tank, and we'll race it all out.
I was reiterating what you said about 10 laps.
No, 10-4, yeah. And I'm just trying to build off of it. And, these guys with their teams, it's going to be really interesting as to what lap these guys do pit compared to everybody else.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're approaching, what are we on, 76, 77 now of 118. So we've got around about, 35 laps. So that's your tank of fuel right there. It'd be interesting to see who decides to go in sooner rather than later and risk rolling across the line on fumes.
The pit window isn't open just yet, too, so it's going to open around 5 laps from now, around 81, 82.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be big, so everybody's going to be coming down and making that pit stop right around the same time. There's not going to be too much strategy variance. There's not a 10-lap gap or anything like that. It's more like 4 or 5 laps.
Well, in a larger field, it may be that you could probably roll the dice on there being a caution and stick it out for a couple of more laps. But in a field this size, it's probably not advisable to just assume that you can get away with staying out if every other car in the field has actually gone in. There's not going to be any advantage in this for 1 or 2 laps of fuel. So just, confirming what you said, I expect everybody to come in together. It's going to be a race in the pit lane to see who can pick up a couple of spots there.
There's also not much you can really do on the pit stop because you need almost a full tank of gas anyways. So there's not much you're going to gain doing 2 tires. It's just going to be how much gas you put in. That's going to be all that matters. And because you need almost close to a full tank, at most you're going to gain a second or 2. There's not going to be too much variance that you can have on the pit stop here.
Well, I'm not expecting a great deal, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. How are your tyres on that last pit stop? You haven't put tyres on today, have you?
I actually did take 4 tires on this end of the second stage just to take them, and now I plan on taking just left sides just to take them because I'm going to have to take almost a full tank of gas anyways. I could probably take 4. I just don't want to take the risk.
Right, okay. I wasn't sure whether you had actually taken any at all during the race because if I'm running at Talladega, I tend not to worry too much about it. Talladega, Daytona, in any NASCAR, in any NASCAR vehicle, I tend not to worry too much about it. With 118 laps, it's probably may be good to throw something on, in the later stages, just to give you that little bit of an edge over anybody who's running older rubber. But you're going to be throwing some on at the green flag pit stop anyway, so you'll probably get that little advantage. It'll be interesting to see who does and who doesn't.
Yeah, the tires have been pretty sturdy this week. I honestly don't think it would be much of an advantage at all, especially with the temps cooling off like they have been. So the tires are just going to be less and less as the race goes up. But for me, it's almost like a comfort thing.
Yeah, super speedways are not much of a problem with tyres, that's what I was saying. But if you're looking at 118, 120 laps, then throwing some on in the later stages may be just what you need for that little edge when you're having a drag race on the white flag lap or something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And more importantly, it's what you might need for your confidence, to make moves, to go 3 wide, to go from the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top. Having those 4 freshies, that'll just give you the confidence to do it compared to having 4 older tires that might be lingering in the back of your brain.
Well, that's exactly right, especially when you get to around about the lap 110 mark. You've had the same tyres on all race. You've sort of... It could be fine and it could not, so it depends on what's going on around you as well.
And most definitely. Luckily, I got a couple guys around me that are playing in the pit all together, so it's almost comfort knowing that. But it's also going to be dependent on when these other guys decide to hit pit road.
Well, that's exactly right. So, as much as it doesn't sound very exciting and all that, seeing everybody come in at once on a green flag stop is probably what's going to be needed. As I said, staying out beyond that, what you do is, as we discussed before, you come out and you're either on your own or you're with 1 or 2 cars. And the draft package in this, with this vehicle in this category, it doesn't really lend itself to that. If you're in the Xfinities or the trucks, you could probably get away with it. But in these, if you are 1 or 2 or 3 cars up against 10 who are all got the benefit of the draft, you can't really expect to get anything fantastic out of that.
It's going to be quite interesting because we're going to be pitting here in the next couple laps, so I wouldn't step away. Everything's going to be turning up the heat, especially on that exit off pit road. Which pack gets together? Here we got a couple biters right now. I believe that's Derek Jacobs, maybe Randy Drumhiller. I'm not exactly sure. They're behind me. Who do you think you see? Who do you got there? Oh, it's just Derek.
It is Derek in the 27 car. He's decided to go early and go for the undercut. That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that, to be honest. I expected to see at least most of the cars come in together and then a couple of stragglers a lap or 2 after. But to see a single car come in a couple of laps before anybody else, that really surprises me. But
Derek's coming back down here this time by, though. That might help the 27 car out for sure. He's going to lose a little bit on his outlap, but it might not be too bad considering it's just the outlap.
Well, the others are on their outlap. He could possibly take advantage of that. So we'll see how it goes. But we've got most of the field coming in now. In fact, I think it's everybody except Derek Jacobs, who's just done his, and he'll be back out on his outlap about now. And the rest of the field will pit for their green flag stop. So we'll keep a close eye on this one, folks. We'll see what happens. And we'll take a quick look at Derek Jacobs. There's Kenny Powell as he pulls into the 24 into his pit bay. And we'll see where Derek Jacobs is located on track if we can. That's actually going to put him in a really good spot, but can he get the advantage out of it? That's going to be interesting to see as the rest of the field now leave the pits. And it's a flock of seagulls out there at the moment. And this is the man that they're going to be chasing.
Yeah, I got myself a pretty good pit stop there. I'm going to be leading the field off pit road. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but right now it seems to be working out.
Well, we're seeing Derek Jacobs at rear of field at the moment, so it hasn't actually updated the way I expected it to. I thought he'd get maybe a little bit more of an advantage out of that, but
I'm definitely not when he's pitting by himself. He's going to have to pit with a couple cars. I was just hoping he didn't lose the draft completely, and he still might have done it.
He's actually closing in on the tail end of that group that's just pitted, so he's closing in on the rest of the field. I don't think it's going to hurt him too badly. Everybody else is getting back up to speed, and Derek's had the benefit of a lap to get up to that race pace. So we'll just take a look and see what happens with this. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster. Not bad. The parts you need even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
And we are back at Alabama, Talladega, and the ISCA Cup Series. And the first man to do the green flag pit stop is the first man to pay the price. He rolled the dice, he paid the price, and Derek Jacobs has really now killed any hope of getting where we expected him to get. Really, because he unfortunately has been awarded a black flag and had to re-pit for some reason, which we're not completely sure of, but maybe speeding in the pits, maybe pushing it just a little bit too close to the edge to try and make that solo pit stop work. It was going to be a bit of a task for him to make that work, but what we saw was him closing in on the tail end of the rest of the field after they were on their outlap. So he would have actually been up at race pace, but unfortunately he's had to let that go because the black flag negated any advantage he would have gotten out of that pit stop, Sean.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. And it sucks for Derek. He's, one of the mainstays here in the series. He just has a tough time finishing these races. And it was nice racing with him for a while because I really don't get to race him all too often. And, just tough break for him. I always look to see if he can get a good finish out of one of these.
Yeah, well, that's it. He really did. It was going to be a gamble, but yeah, he could have made it pay off except for that black flag. But with everybody else having the benefit of the draft on the outlap, it was an if and a maybe as to whether he was going to make it work. But it looked as though he could have, but then when he had to re-pit, that sort of just blew it out of the water. So what we're looking at the moment, though, is Mark Sanchez leading this one from Sean Signor, Kenny Powell, and Jay Collins, I believe. David Gervais.
Jay tucked behind me, yeah. David in the 88's up on the top side behind the 24 right there.
Yep, and we've got Bacon Zelenka swapping places with David Gervais now. Greg Wychinski in 7th. Vincent Crowe, Heaney, and Olsen rounds out the top 10. So that's who we're looking at the moment. We've got 3 cars working together really well. on that outside line, a little bit staggered. They've come down and, there's not quite enough room to get 3 cars down there in front of Sean Signor. Mark Sanchez has managed to keep his nose in front and move back up, so he's now got 3 cars behind him on that mid-line. The other 2 or 3 cars that he was towing with him almost decided to go down, and there just wasn't going to be the space. How the skid marks going in that driver's suit after that one, Sean?
Well, it was tight right there, but luckily we were all lived for another day. I trust those 2 pretty heavily, so I'm not too worried about maybe crashing right here, but we got to still be on our toes to avoid it either way.
Yeah, so now we've actually we've seen a couple of those guys from the midline now move down in front of Sean, and we keep
might be for the best for the moment.
Yeah, Sanchez, Powell, and then Signor with Collins, Gervais, and Wachinski up into the top 6 now. So Greg Wachinski starting to make his move, and we're certainly well into the later stages of this race. No need for pit stops. Tyres and fuel are taken care of. These guys are just going to have to battle to the end. Doubt very much there'll be a caution. If there is, do you think it's likely that too many people will bother throwing fuel in, Sean?
I don't think anybody's going to need fuel. Most definitely nobody's going to need fuel since we all pitted on the same lap. But it's definitely a caution is up for grabs here. It could happen at any moment.
Well, there's a lot of activity going on this midline on the outside there. In fact, the car has moved out to run 3 wide, and the other 3 cars that he was working with, trying to figure out what they're going to do. We've got somebody hung out to dry in the middle lane now, while 3 cars are running through. They're back to 2, back to 3, and one of those has dropped down onto the tail end of the inside line. They really are just all over the place at the moment, trying to find that little advantage, that little bit of air. And it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with it. Back to single file again now, and we are getting very close to triple figures on that lap counter.
It's starting to get a little heavy in here, and it's also getting pretty dark in this session, I've started to notice, so that might even play a factor in at the very end of this race. That sun's going down pretty quick, at least on my end.
So I believe that's lap, was that 90?
This is 94 that we just started, yep. So we got about
it was
22 laps to go.
Right, so
24 laps to go next time by, sorry.
Yep, I was just going to say that. And single file, lower line, inside line, that's where it's at, people. Derek Jacobs still on the lead lap, I believe. Not by a lot, but he's there, and he's at the tail end of the field. As we see Heedy and Drumhauser ahead of him in 11th and 12th. And Sanchez continues to lead this from Powell and Signor, with Jay Collins and Wachinski rounding out the top 5. We've got Olsen, Grissenbaum and Gervais and Vincent Crowe, who has led a big chunk of this race. It'd be interesting to see how many laps he's led tonight, because he had a real hold on a big chunk of this race for the first 2 stages and beyond. So it'll be interesting to see how they can finish from here. No fuel needed, no tyres needed, just on the ball and working with whoever you're working with to just get those points and get the rest of this race done as cleanly as possible.
Back to the patient game here at the moment. Everybody's just biding their time, getting these laps tucked away. But I imagine with about 10 to go, it's going to start picking up. Might even start picking up before then.
Well, we're still 23, 22 laps, I believe, yet to go. And we are at Talladega in Alabama. This is the ISCA Cup. We're going to take a quick break. We've got 22 laps to go. We'll be back in a minute.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster. Not bad. The parts you need even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
Welcome back to Talladega in Alabama. This is the ISCA Cup, and it's all happening here. We are 2 by 2, and the boys are making their move at the moment with around about 19 laps to go. I think we're about to click over 18 because I think we're about to hit the magic 100 mark, and we've still got Mark Sanchez has just relinquished the lead to Sean Signor. How you doing out there, Sean? You've got your nose in front.
Sorry, I had to make a move right there. It was pretty tight.
Yeah, just poor timing on my part as we see a couple of the boys coming together, but no caution across the infield there for number 44. Yeah, a little bit of a coming together at that point. There was a little bit of push and shove going on in the field. They were 2 by 2. We're going to take a look at that.
Cutting off the leader there, kind of maybe causing a little bit of a checkup. They might have wrecked because of that.
Yes, no, somebody actually, somebody got on the apron, then somebody clipped the apron. They came together, and the car that clipped the apron ended up moving up into, I think, David Gervais and putting him up towards the outside wall. So that was very, very close to a caution, and they managed to avoid it. So great recovery and great driving to everybody involved in that one as we take it. Sorry?
That's a tough break for the 88. He has a lot of tough breaks in this league. He has a hard time, just getting good luck and managing to miss some of those incidental wrecks. And, he got caught up in that big one last week at the very end of the race. And, just a tough couple races there for that 88. Always look for him to have a good finish here at Talladega.
Well, I saw that he got pushed towards the outside wall, just didn't realise he'd actually given it a tag. So he's obviously hit that, got wheel damage. It didn't appear to be a big impact, so I'd say wheel damage because that'll automatically give you a meatball, which now he's going to have to pit, which is really, it's put paid to it. I don't think the car's going to be competitive for another 15, 16 laps, and he's going to have to pit to do something about that, unfortunately. So bad news there for David Gervais. He's fought hard tonight, and he sort of put himself in some really good positions, but that one there, absolutely innocent bystander, collateral damage in somebody else's mishap. So a bit of a shame as Sean Signor continues to actually lead this from Collins. And Mark Sanchez, Zelenka in 4th, and Kenny Powell rounds out the top 5. Vincent Crowe has brought himself back up to 6th. Greg Wychinski in 7th. Heaney and then Grisbaum and Olsen rounds out your top 10. So that's where we're at the moment, folks. We are 2 by 2. We've got 4 cars on the midline there on the outside at the moment. And yes, it is getting a little bit dark out there. So the sun's definitely gone down. And we are just barely going to get this one done before we're going to need something these cars don't have, and that's headlights.
Yeah, it's definitely playing a factor already. It's pretty dark already. I kind of have doubts we might even get to the end here with full daylight. It's going to be very hard to see anything here very shortly. I'd say within the next 5 minutes or so.
So we're going to have to we're going to see how that goes. Kobe's got his eye on the clock. What race time have we got left on this one, Kobe? Okay, so it's going to be pretty close. You can see the sunset in the background, but the sun's definitely dropped below the horizon. And of course, as we know, there's no night lighting here at Talladega. So we're hoping to get this one out of the way. And we are on lap 104, I believe. So what are we looking at? 14 laps to go since it's just changed over to 104. So that's going to be cutting it awful close out there, Sean. How bad is it?
So it's not too bad at the moment, but it's getting worse by the second. That's why I'd say it's going to be a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, I've done this in the Aussie V8 supercars at a track where the lighting really didn't help, and we ended up racing in the dark. But those cars have headlights. It's not something that we've got on the next-gen cars. So let's hope that this is not going to spell anything dangerous throughout the field.
Yeah, it definitely can, and it's kind of lame how Talladega doesn't have the lights, and it's gonna kind of hamper what could be a really good finish here. But let's see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, and we might just get it done in time.
Well, fingers are crossed, and we are keeping tabs on this. Everybody, the entire field is on the lead. Actually, Derek Jacobs now is showing at he's 20 laps down, so that car is obviously on the transporter. And unless Derek parked it for a while and has gone back out, but I find that unlikely. But we're running 2 by 2 again. We've got a couple of guys trying to make something happen on the midline, but it's Collins has definitely got his hands on this one. Zelenka in second and Signor third. Plenty of sparks showing up there at the moment off Sean's car. So as you can see, as it gets darker, the sparks from the suspension and the bodywork definitely becoming a lot more obvious. So we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll see what we can do about getting this one completed. A lot of sparks coming off the bodywork for Collins's car at the moment as well. He's got Zelenka right in behind him. The guys are bunched up there at the moment, and I think that's more to do with keeping close to one another so you can see the other cars at the moment.
I'm kind of giving that 45 all he has, and I can tell the guys behind me that pace has really picked up here over the last couple minutes. Might be the darkness, might just be the laps running down, but these guys are definitely starting to feel it.
Yeah, it's certainly becoming very competitive as we expected, but we certainly weren't expecting it to do it in the dark. So it's not as bad as it could be at the moment, but with only a few laps to go, it's getting noticeably darker out there. As you can see, no night lights, no headlights. In fact, the only thing you can see out there is the green light and the sparks. So it's going to be interesting to see how we go with this one as we continue to look at the order of things. Jay Collins, still leading this one from Bacon Zelenka. Signor, Heaney, and Greg Wachinski rounds out the top 5. And then everybody is just there together. They're running 2 by 2, 2 or 3 cars on the outside. and trying to make something happen at the rear of field there, but it's just not working for him. That inside, that midline and outside line, there's just nothing out there because there's just no way to get any pace down, no rubber down. These guys keep trying, but it's going to be interesting to see what they can do in these last few laps.
Yeah, it probably looks better too in the cockpit compared to the outside view. Like, I can still see pretty good here for the moment. I can, feel like it really isn't that big of a problem, but it's getting worse by the minute. And I'm pretty sure they have 4 times daylight transition in these sessions as well. So that's what's causing this problem here at the moment. But I feel like it's going to become an issue as well for maybe some of these older racers that don't have as good eyesight as maybe some of the younger bucks in here, like Bacon. Bacon's got better eyesight than me, and I'm starting to get to an old man. That could definitely become a problem. I imagine some of these guys are already having problems seeing.
Well, considering that the problem I'm having with the one eye that works, if I was actually driving out there at the moment, I think I would have probably pulled the pin by now.
Yeah, I can see it becoming more and more of an issue, but we're going to get close.
So
8 laps to go this time around. Would be a big win for Jay. Jay hasn't won a race in a long time, probably has never won a race in this league, and he just started racing here this summer. Bacon would be a win for him to lock himself into the playoffs, and same for the 19 behind me and the 5. So these guys are all fighting to try to get themselves into that final 4 right here. There's 3 of them up front right now racing for position.
Well, I can't even say this is the first time I've seen this, because I remember a race with ISCA a few years ago, and I believe we went to a track that was supposed to have lighting, and I think it was the old version of Atlanta, but for some reason there were no lights, and whoever booked it and made the booking, created the race, the session, thought there were lights at the old Atlanta, and there wasn't. So, of course, we ended up actually racing completely in the dark, because it was a night race. So not necessarily as bad with what we're getting here, because we don't have as long to go. But that one there, that was the big bulk of the race, was actually done in the dark in cars that didn't have headlights. So very unfortunate that was, but it was a mistake that it happens from time to time. And at the moment, we're seeing this darkness completely envelope the cars here with the almost full field. And Collins continues to lead from Zelenka and Signor with Heaney and Grisenbaum and Wachinski back to 6th position. And I'm not expecting to see anybody be too brave in making a big move to get to the front in this one in the dying light. It's getting a little bit dark out there well, from what our point of view is, it's getting a bit dark out there to make any risky moves. So how are you going there, Sean? You're still able to see where you're going?
Yeah, still able to see pretty good at the moment. I'm not having any problems, and it's probably good to have a light-colored car in this moment. I can see maybe with a black car in the mirror, it might be tough to see it right about now. So if you have a light-colored car, it's kind of showing a little bit of advantage right now at the moment. Kind of wish I had bright neon colors.
Yeah, that probably would have been handy, or lower the suspension and just let us see the sparks off the car so that we can actually see where you are. Collins continues to lead this. Jay Collins. And did you say that this could be, if he continues to lead this, could be his first ISCA win?
Most definitely. This is probably his 10th or 12th start. Joined this summer. His first race was at Atlanta, and he almost won that one on the Super Speedway. So Jay's a pretty good Super Speedway racer. He's an old friend of mine. It'd be pretty cool to push him to a win.
Well, that'd be great to see that happen. He certainly put himself at the pointy end at the right time of the race, because this is not a time where you want to particularly be trying to make a move. Wow, this is getting very scary out there from my point of view, and just looking alongside the cars is the only way that I can really sort of see them. It's very difficult to see what's going on the broadcast there at the moment. So we'll hopefully keep our fingers crossed. A little bit difficult from the cockpit view to see the double yellow line on the inside, but that's about the only guide anybody's got at the moment.
4 laps to go this time by. We might just scrape by the skin of our teeth when it comes to this daylight situation. Because you're right, it is getting pretty dark. It's pretty dark inside my cockpit right now. You know, I can see through the lights of the dash. They're almost blinding me at the moment. It's so bright.
Well, it's going to be interesting because either we're going to make it through this and everybody's going to have to just be happy to take the position they're in at the moment to get through these last few laps, or we're going to see a big one right here at the end because people can't see each other, and I'm hoping that's not what happens. But
it's getting hard for some of these guys to see, I can tell.
And that must have been close. It looked like that was very close to being a caution.
I don't think Bacon can see.
So Wachinski is now leading this one from Collins. He's gotten himself around the outside. Oh, and we've got a caution. I did notice that whatever car we were on was spinning because that's what the camera was doing. And we're going to try and view this replay to see what actually took place there. And because of the difficulty with the vision and lack of light, I'm going to have to ask, were you involved in that at all, Sean?
I was on the inside. I got a 0x, so no, I don't think I was involved. I checked up in time for it.
Right. But we are under caution, so, and, oh, that's a big hit. So a little bit difficult to see who that was that, plowed into the wall. Oh, thank God for that.
It looked like Wachinski. I saw Wachinski come across the 46's nose.
Well, so we actually have the pace car out, which is unfortunately the only vehicle that's got headlights, and this is going to drag things out a little bit longer, which is, of course, it's going to make it even darker out there. So, unfortunately, folks, very difficult to see what's going on. Darkness has enshrouded this race. And unfortunately, being Talladega, if this was the 2011 version of Daytona, we wouldn't have an issue. But being Talladega, the only hope we... Sorry?
Set up
Kenny.
at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, Kenny. How you doing? You want to try and sort of shine some light on what we're looking at the moment?
Man, I'm not. Yeah, we're talking about it in the.
Sorry about the pun, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. I don't think I messed up with the race. I think it started at 2. It is double time the sun. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm sure we'll have a big, long discussion about it. Definitely people are not happy. But we're all racing under the same conditions, so I'm not sure.
Well, that's right. It's affecting everybody. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, possibly a time multiplier on the service setting or something. I'm not sure, but it certainly didn't make things any easier for anybody out there. Although I'm told that there's more vision from inside the car for the drivers than there is on the broadcast at the moment.
Can you see at all, Kenny?
Yeah, I can see. I mean, I definitely understand it's dark, but you can see the lines. I don't know. Yeah,
so unfortunately, but yeah, caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to be able to speak with you at this point. So, how many green-white checkers were set up for this, if any?
It's just one green-white checker.
Well, just the one. Okay. I'm just trying to get an idea of what we may be looking at here as far as time.
Yeah, we got one shot at it here.
Well, it's telling me 3 laps to go. So, did it actually announce to you guys to go on for the green-white checker?
Yes, this is it's 2 to green with a green-white checker.
Right. Okay. Well, good luck. I'll let you get back down into the channel and do what you got to do, and see if we can get through this green-white checker and finish this round at Talladega of the ISCA.
All right, 10-4.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, man.
All right, folks.
I'm not sure how this green-white checker is going to go because half the field can't see, and it's going to be hard for any of us to kind of keep a line here. You know, my monitor's set up pretty bright, and I can barely see the yellow line as we're talking.
To be honest, if I had to, pardon the pun again, but take a stab in the dark, I'm going to say that we may end up with another caution and we'll end up finishing behind the pace car, which could be the safest way to go, to be honest. So we'll see.
I'm going to turn around and shut my light off in my room. I might be able to see a little better.
It looks like the lights are, yes, the lights are definitely off on the roof of the pace car. So, wow, be careful out there, buddy, when we go green. Kenny Powell is actually leading this from Zelenka. And Zelenka now back into the lead. They're going to swap positions as we go green. Collins, Sanchez, Crow, Signor. Wow, we'll have to see who survives. I think this could be a case of last man standing in the dark.
I believe so as well, yeah.
Because we don't even know who's where. And
at one point, very shortly, it's going to go full darkness, kind of like how it does in the sports car races. And once it goes full darkness, it's going to really get interesting because then I'm going to be worried about if I can see or not. I'm already kind of worrying about that now with half the cars in front of me having black bumpers.
Yeah, probably pull over to the side.
Yeah, I'm going balls to the wall. I got nothing to lose, and you know, the gate, if they can't see in front of me, that's almost their problem. But I'm sure it'll end up my problem as well.
Can you see the outside wall?
I can see it, but it also might have something to do with the pace car lighting as well.
Well,
but I can't. I can still see the outside wall, but you know, who knows what my visual settings are at. I can barely see the outside wall, and I can barely see the yellow line, but just barely myself.
Yeah, because I was just about to say, if you can at least see the white wall on the outside, maybe just run around the outside to get this over with or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's a little bit difficult to know what to do, and you're in the car, so you're the one who got to make the decision.
Yeah, coming into the restart zone now, it'll be interesting to see if he can even see the restart zone. It's a black flag waiting to happen.
Well, green, folks. It's black, but we're green. And I'm seeing cars spinning. Will we go back to caution and finish behind the pace car? That's a good question. It's just one possibility, but I'm lost. I can't even see cars. We are back under caution. So we are back under caution. This one will finish behind the pace car because I believe we had one green-white checker, which means that's how we're going to finish this one. Unfortunate, but yeah, we're not sure. As you heard yourself, we heard from Kenny Powell, the man of the moment. It's his league. He set up the race, and he can't understand why it's done this. So there we go. Unofficial results. Kenny Powell, Sean Signor, Mark Sanchez, Vincent Crow. They're all over the place at the moment because it's still trying to decide who's where in the field in the midst of it all because they haven't actually crossed the finish line yet. We're going to throw to a quick ad break, folks, while we see how this pans out. Please stick around. We'll see what we can do with this and interviews at the end of this.
Speed training. It's how Advanced Auto Parts trains our staff to get you the right part even faster.
Not bad.
The parts you need even faster. Advanced Auto Parts. Service is our best part. Next!
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the ISCA at Talladega. And no, it's not a different day. That is a replay. It's still pretty dark out there. And Bacon Zelenka, I believe, got second place in this one. Although he probably doesn't know that because he hasn't seen the finish line. G'day, Bacon. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Geez, mate, how did you do with the end there?
Well, I just sort of held the gas and eventually made it around the racetrack.
Look, congratulations, second place. And honestly, anybody who got to the end there needs a pat in the back and a big handshake, because that was pretty tough stuff going through that as it got darker and darker. But congratulations, that's a good haul of points, mate.
Thank you, mate.
The race itself, you won our first stage, and we're at the pointy end for a huge chunk of that working with your teammate.
Yeah, it was a good race. We definitely had more pace in this. It's sad to see that everybody was talking about it, and then we just let it run to the end when everybody said, hey, we're not gonna be able to see, and then everybody just ignored it, which is very interesting to me. But
so yet to be determined as to what caused it. It's obviously a time multiplier issue, but Kenny's actually scratching to try and explain what might have happened there as well. So he's affected by it just as much as everybody else is. So, but on to, I believe, I'm reliably informed, Martinsville next round.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I don't really know. I didn't do too good there last time, but it was kind of just a bad race overall. So I guess we'll see.
Right. So yeah, going one extreme to the other, really, isn't it? I mean, Talladega, 2.6 mile down to Martinsville, which is 600 meters or something. So a big turnaround in the way you approach the race, isn't it?
Not really. You're still driving a car on the racetrack. It's all the same. Just speed's different, but same goals, same strategies.
All right, no worries. Anybody want to give a shout out to? Friends, sponsors, teammates?
Well, I want to thank Vinny for letting me come out here and do this, put me on the team. All of SAR, Sean taught me a lot. I want to thank my parents for letting me be out this late, doing this all the time. And you guys for making the broadcast and doing it, making it fun, That's what makes it interesting for us.
Well, it's certainly interesting when you watch this one back, mate.
Sure it will be.
All right, look, congratulations again. Bacon Zelenka, second place in this round at Talladega of the ISCA Cup. And we'll see you at Martinsville. And once again, congratulations and thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you, Zero.
And we'll move on to the winner of the race, Mr. Kenny Powell, man of the moment. Probably beating people off with a stick at the moment who want to talk to him about the end of that race, Kenny.
Oh, yeah. I feel like Eminem. I love controversy.
Mate, how did you see your race overall tonight? Not necessarily that darkness at the end, but the race itself. I mean, you were you were there, but you weren't really there. The pointy end was dominated by several other people, most of it.
Yeah, I mean, my main goal and objective was to try to stay safe and be there at the end, so I had a chance at the end. I feel very confident with my pushing. I can push with the best of them, so I just needed to get lined up with the right people at the right time and go, and that's what you saw at the end. And I was able to push myself up to the end.
Well, unfortunately, I'd have to disagree because we didn't. So, sorry, I couldn't help that one, mate. Yeah. But yeah, we could hear it. But yeah, certainly, it was certainly a struggle for everyone out there. And what they need to realise is everybody's in the same boat, and the race could have gone to anybody in those conditions. Look, you'll deal with it as a league admin does, and as you've done in the past when things come up, and you'll deal with it the way you see fit, and there's probably nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just speak about it a little bit. when I set up the race, I set it up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe. I don't have anything to tell me that I made a mistake with that. And the sun was, I've always done the sun movement at 2 times because our races are more or less half the main races or the real NASCAR races. So, it shocked me as well. This definitely wasn't a pre-made decision on my part. I was shocked as well. I'm
certainly not going to try and autopsy the settings and stuff like that. That's not really for me to do. I can ask all sorts of questions about this or that. But you're as surprised as anybody else. You're affected the same way everybody else was. So, you've set it up a million times. And you've set it up a million times.
Based on the interview that I did, right there at the last caution. I was asked if I could see, and my answer was I can see the lines. And at the moment of when that caution came out, I felt like I could still see. When you asked me if I could see, I could definitely see, but I learned after the pace car pulled off that it was much, much harder to see. So and that's what everybody else was experiencing, but I wasn't experiencing that because the pace car headlights. So, like you said, there'll be much discussion around this, and I guess we'll keep you up to date at the next Thursday at the same time.
Well, moving on to Martinsville now in the next round, and you because I know that some guys really are short track guys. With iRacing NASCAR, you're either a short track guy or you're not. You yourself, are you looking forward to getting onto the half mile at Martinsville?
I am. I am one of those short track guys. I love short tracks, and I look forward to going to Martinsville.
All right. Look, thanks very much. A job well done again, regardless of anything else. You run a fantastic league here, and you get the job done week in, week out. And when something like that happens once, people probably need to take that into consideration and say, well, nobody died. Look, mate, is there anybody you want to send a thank you out to? Sponsors, friends, teammates?
Appreciate you hopping in the booth for Big Al tonight. I appreciate Kobe and I guess was James here tonight. I'm not sure. Sean, I'm sure you stepped into the booth. Thank you guys. All my G&G teammates. Special shout out to Mark. He was racing extremely sick tonight. And, to everybody in the race, again, sorry, this wasn't planned, and we'll discuss it and move forward.
Yes, well, that's it. There's an expression for that, but one of them's a 4-letter word, and something happens, and that's probably what we need to take a look at. I know it's a championship and there are points involved, but pure and simple, it happens, and that's the way it goes. So thanks very much, and congratulations again on the win, Kenny Powell. A good fistful of points there towards the championship, and Bacon Zelenka coming in second, and Sean Signor in third. So congratulations to our roving reporter, Sean. Well done, mate.
Appreciate it, man. It was a long, hard-fought race. I don't know how I finished third or where I even finished, but I guess
you couldn't see that you were third. That was the problem.
Yeah, I guess I'll take third.
Okay. All right. Special thanks to the league owner, Kenny Powell, and all the other names there, half of which are Kenny Powell. He does a tremendous job and works hard on this. There's the information if you want to become a sponsor and get involved with the league. That's how you do it. Take a good look at that. Wind back the broadcast when you watch it back. You can get all the details. On behalf of Sean and Kobe Jordan in the booth, thank you very much. We'll see you next time, I believe, at Martinsville. This is Steve Hoppett signing off on behalf of Big Al, who I believe will be back next week. Thank you.
I found the ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part. and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, you know, maybe a little cleaner driving, and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues, because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. You know, B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I've been with the ISCA ever since.